Welcome back, welcome back to another episode of the Weekend News Dump. Infamous and Treese, as always, here to give you the roundup news throughout the week. Let's get straight into it. So, I'm here to drop some news for you. Steam charts are buzzing hot right now, with the top 4 paid games on Steam being Pragmata, Windrose, Mouse PI for Hire, and Crimson Deserts. Whew. It looks like indie, offline, and new IP single player games are just doing fine in a market that says if it ain't live service, multiplayer gamers just don't want it. I call bullshit. Treese, what do you take in this rounding news of all these single player and indie and newer games that are the top on Steam chart and not none of the Marathon, Arc Raiders, or any of the other live service multiplayer slop that is going on right now?
Yeah, anytime they make those little cute catchphrase like, "Oh, no one wants to play single player games anymore," and blah blah blah. Anytime they start making little catchphrases like that, that's how you know the marketing machine is trying to brainwash the community of gamers. Like, get out of here. No, what we don't want is live service slop that nickel and dimes us in these microeconomic financial difficulties. All right. So you can give me a develop single player experience that I can get, 20 plus hours on and Crimson Desert 100 plus hours on for 60, $70, then cool. So yeah, like don't ever get caught up in the brainwash of marketing of gaming, especially when they have something to profit on. Don't ever get caught up in that because single player, well, let me reference well developed single player stories have always done consistently well and they never really went away. Yeah, live service is like get rich fast quick scheme, okay? But well developed single player experience have been pretty steady in gaming sales history. So I'm not shocked. Shout out to all four of these IPs, Pragmata, Mouse PI for Hire. I actually heard a lot of good things about the the PI for Hire, and we all know Crimson Desert has been well received, even after they've done multiple updates. So shout out to all of them, well deserved. And this is why we need to celebrate single player experience stories because we don't want that narrative like, oh, single player stories are outdated and outwashed. You don't ever need that to be taking over marketing because let's be real, them live service games, they as quick as they come, they go.
They absolutely do. And I love how you emphasize higher quality single player games because not all single player games are worthy of your time and money. But I want to just point out something real quick before we move on. All 4 of these games are brand new IPs. They are not sequels to anything, and they are
Mhm.
all vary in length and experience. Mouse PI for Hire is an indie game, I think about 8 to 10 hours long, first person, Steamboat Willie esque aesthetic. You have Crimson Desert, an action adventure open world game, 100 plus hour experience. Then you have Pragmata, a third person puzzle based shooter, something new from beloved Capcom, a 12 to 20-hour experience, depending on if you want to collect and do everything. Because one thing I will say about Capcom, whatever game they make, it's going to have collectibles. It's going to have something for you to go back and go find again. Every
Yeah.
Resident Evil got some
Yeah.
shit hidden in an obscure area for you to find and go look. I don't know much about Windrose, but like I said, I know it's not the sequel to something. It ain't a remake and it ain't a remaster. These are all 4 brand new experiences and they are dominating the charts right now. So don't let these companies tell you, a la EA, oh, Dragon Age Velguard, it failed because it wasn't a live service game. That's horseshit. You half-assed it and we saw it and we didn't want it. So get that out of here. But next up is something different. And I did not know this would happen. Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3 has been announced. And I am just I did not think it was going to happen. And the only reason I say that is because Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 has been supported for so many years. It is absurd. It is completely ridiculous. They have put out expansion after expansion after DLC continuously for this damn game. And it came to one point that I was just like, I guess this is this their version of a live service game. But no, they said, hey, we're going to put it out and make a new one. Actually, this is the 10th year of Xenoverse 2. The original one, I'm sorry, not original, but Xenoverse 2 originally came out in October 8th of 2016. Oh, that is the staying power of Dragon Ball Z. Trace, have you played any of the Dragon Ball Xenoverse
Oh,
games? You
yeah,
familiar?
absolutely. That's why I knew that it's been 10 years because this dropped in 2016 and it's
Gee,
still getting DLC in 2026.
still getting
Unfucking
DLC
heard of. Like, and
and a
fans have
huge player
been,
base.
yes, fans has been looking for this sequel for for a decade. So I mean, and this is different than other Dragon Ball games. It's straight fighting games, but you know, this create your own character, open hub world, time travel, story fixing Dragon Ball Z history type setup. You're not just Goku, you're part of the story. So that's a element of these games that you get and why they're so beloved. And so, you know, this is supposed to be jumping in a whole new era set far in the future with new characters, still tied to the classics, of course, of Dragon Ball lore. So yeah, I know, and you know, Dragon Ball after you know the creator unexpectedly passed. You know, I think fans are really hungry for anything Dragon Ball right now. It's been a long time waiting and long time in the making. So, yo, shout out to the Dragon Ball fans. It is our time. It's been 10 years. Hey, it's time. It's been sometimes you might say, hey, the sequel, the last game was just yesterday, but nah, this has been 10 years. Like if you was in your 20s, you in your 30s now. Like that's that's just nuts. But hey, Dragon Ball fans, we about to eat good.
Yeah, I am really just shocked and also yet ashamed because when I heard the news and I thought to myself, like, it hasn't been as long as I thought it has it? I have purchased Xenoverse and have not truly dived into it. I played the shit out of the first
What?
one. I love the story. No. Here's the kicker thing. I have bought numerous pieces of DLC for Xenoverse 2
Oh
and
my
did
god.
shit with it. And then now hearing it, well, of course I got it all on sale. They're super cheap. But now hearing this, I'm like, yo, that's crazy. But I know what made the staying power of Xenoverse so compelling to people, at least what started with the first one, was the parallel quest that you can play in co-op with your friends, and
Mhm.
especially with the created character you made or characters you unlock. They took that even further with the second game, with God knows the ungodly amount of DLC. But hey, you know, I always say like, oh, you know, I'll get to this. Everyone wanted. Why can't you just play the main story co-op? And they're like, no, that ain't how we doing this. But that's crazy. That's been 10 years this entire time. So that support you can get from Bandai Namco or whoever the hell's doing this. I can't fully remember, but I do look forward to it and to see where they take this narrative with the story going forward. But hey, that's just to give you a quick synopsis of it. I know details are still a little murky, but we'll see where it goes from there. Up next, we have some big news, at least to me. Game Pass Ultimate subscribers have got told a Herculean announcement. Call of Duty is gone from Game Pass Ultimate day and date release. After 2 years of suffering 300 million plus in losses, Microsoft has said, hey, we're not doing this anymore. You want COD, you pay for it like everybody else. Want it for the low game price, you get it next year. And I don't know why they didn't do this from the start. Not only did Bobby Kotick warn and explicitly tell them, hey, Call of Duty is not made for that with the amount of money it takes to make it. But why would you give it away in a subscription when it makes billions on its own in sales? Billions. Ugh. Trace, are you shocked, glad, praised by this news, or it's like, well, it's about time to make a fucking course correction.
So let me just say, I don't give a fuck about the Call of Duty franchise. Yeah, I haven't played a Call of Duty game in a long time, just cause, yeah, I'm no longer a player of Call of Duty. That's just not for me anymore. But let me just say, I remember when Microsoft, Xbox, whatever you want to call them, was buying the studio of Call of Duty, and the dude that was running the franchise was like, "Hey, if you put this on Game Pass, that's the dumbest decision you'll ever make." And will I say, it's been the dumbest decision that Xbox and Microsoft made. And what he said then is still relevant now, all these years later. So he didn't sugarcoat it. He was very blunt. It was in headlines everywhere. And this is before the deal even went through and was completed, because we all know it took a while for the deal to go through. He was very blatant in how he felt, and the Xbox fanboys was like, "No, Game Pass, this is gonna make Game Pass blow up," and it didn't. So, hey, but I think this story is getting very much overshadowed because of the price reduction. Not a lot of people are paying or giving credence to this, but I think Call of Duty fans at the end of the day won't care, because they're gonna pay the price to get in the club. Whatever the price of admission, because they want the latest and greatest Call of Duty game.
Yeah. And then not to mention, why pay for it if it's giving away the subscription? But then also now
Exactly.
you want
Yeah.
now now you want people to pay for it, but you also have Warzone that's free to fucking play. So there's also another alternative that is updated continuously to just, hey, why pay you when I can just get the same experience playing this? Even it may
Yeah.
be with the battle royale aspect or whatnot, but Call of Duty is Call of Duty to some people. That's just majority of what they all end or do play. So me personally, I have checked out of Call of Duty a very long time ago. The
Long
last
time
time I
ago.
bought anything of it was the Modern Warfare 2 thing. Modern Warfare, when they brought back Modern Warfare 1 and 2, just for me to check it out to see, like, oh, how are they redoing it? But after that, nah. Nah, they can have it. We'll move on and we'll follow this as it goes. Next, another COD news that was going on. A Call of Duty movie is in the works and scheduled to come out in 2028. I'm going to say this, and I don't care who the fuck gets offended. Why do we need a Call of Duty movie? And I'm gonna get real into this real fast. Is not every military movie a Call of Duty movie? Saving Private Ryan, is that not World War II movie? Black Hawk Down, is that not a Call of Duty movie? I can keep going, people. There are a plethora of military movies. Now, if it's not like truly unique, where they are picking the storyline of Modern Warfare or Black Ops, then what is the point of Trace? You gotta get in on
No, no, I don't. I don't have to get on it.
it.
No, I don't know what's this renaissance of making video games into movies right now, but it's really getting out of hand. Like,
Mhm.
and which quote unquote Call of Duty are they gonna base this movie on? Like, is it
That's what I'm
gonna
talking about.
like these scenes gonna be looking like the scenes from the video game? Like, I don't know, but yeah, military. Like, come on, yeah, I kind of agree. Like, military movies
Like
is
every
Call of Duty movie.
Yeah, Inglorious Bastards, Call of Duty movie. Civil War, Call of Duty movie. Saving Private Ryan, Sisu, Call of Duty movie. Life is Beautiful, The Warfare, Apocalypse Now, Hacksaw Ridge. That's another World War II Call of Duty movie. How many World War II Call of Duty games we get? 1917, Full Metal Jacket, like Braveheart, The Imitation Game, The Covenant, Primitive War, Tropic Thunder, lighthearted. The
Top
King,
Gun.
Fury. Hey, I ain't gonna lie, Fury, that was a good ass movie. I'm a fan of you, Brad Pitt, and Shia LaBeouf before he, became whatever the fuck he is now. Pearl Harbor, Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, that's
Come on
real.
now.
Yeah.
Good ass movie. Like you can take any of these and be like, yo, that was a Call of Duty story. What are we doing? I agree with you. I don't know where this obsession with, the game was good. The money, we make it a movie be good. That's not
Cause
guaranteed, but
Nintendo out here making the impression that you can just make something and makes $1 billion. You ain't
That's
Nintendo.
Nintendo. Okay, you people don't have Mario. You won't have Mario. You won't make money like Mario. You all need to let it go. But I was very shocked to hear this and that it was coming out within 2 years. Again, I was like, is every military movie that's ever been made, is that not a Call of Duty movie? But I will keep up with this and let you all know. But we're going to round this up. So this caught me off a little by surprise because Splatoon Raiders is a franchise by Nintendo,
Mhm.
their shooter franchise. It is predominantly a online focused team-based shooter. The Splatoon Raiders, unlike Splatoon 1, 2, and 3, will be a single-player focused game with co-op added to it, and it is launching for an MSRP of $50 digital, 60 physical. What the fuck are you up to, Nintendo? Now, we all know Nintendo has their variable pricing going on, but at this point, Nintendo has been milking and nickeling and diming the shit out of its player base. So when I heard that their online answer to a lot of games was more single player focused and $50, Cheese, what are you taking on this?
Now, if you've been listening to this podcast, you already know how I feel about Nintendo. Like I have, I don't give Nintendo no money. Look, I'm still on my Switch One that I did not pay for, and I'm gonna ride that until the wheels fall off because Nintendo ain't getting $1 out of me. But like this is just regular Nintendo news. They do shady stuff all the time, and so this is not nothing crazy. Now, I do know of this franchise because my nephew actually has this on his Switch, but like, remind me, what did the last Splatoon sell for? What was this MSRP?
Splatoon 3 sold for $59.99 MSRP on the original Switch. But that was before their variable pricing method and the fuck shit that they're doing now on Switch 2.
Why? But
On
I
Switch,
don't feel like that game deserves to be $60.
well, Nintendo believes that, their first party games are higher quality than anybody else.
Oh my
And
god, not the Nintendo
That's that,
seal of
that's
quality.
one. That's one. Nintendo also feels that the Switch is a console, not a handheld, so it needs to have console pricing. And Nintendo fans just eat up whatever the fuck Nintendo puts in front of them. So, like I said, it was a full $60 hairs. The Switch 2, they are 70 and 80 above according to what the fuck they feel like or what they deem it to be. But like I said, what caught my attention was that Nintendo made a new stance that digital games will be cheaper than the physical ones. That I don't know why they're going that, even though that should have been a thing from the get go. And now with the lower price and them always talking about the quality, their standards. Why is this cheaper? The discourse online was that people feel that since it is such at a lower price, it will be such a lower lack of content in the game. Given that the story may be too short or be predicated on them drip feeding you content through the co-op mode or just various things people starting out. But like I said, I brought it up because as we've talked about many times, Nintendo does bullshit. Nintendo does the nasty things they do, and that's why I said, what are they up to?
I mean, it's well documented with leaks and stuff that they don't put real money into their franchises for these new games. So, yeah, I think that's to be expected. Like, don't expect long playtime. Look at Metro Prime 4. Like, you got
Oh,
12
absolutely.
hours. Like, so
Absolutely.
that's just normal Nintendo. And but even at $50, I think that's still too high. I remember when digital became becoming a thing, they sold us on a lie talking about, oh, it costs us less to sell you a digital game, therefore it'd be more affordable. But yet digital games sometimes are more expensive than physical. So make it make sense, my G.
Absolutely. Now, I do know they do have some hardcore players that play this damn game. I played a little bit of Splatoon 2 and Splatoon 3. You would think it's kids running around just hee hee ha. They Nintendo fans have shown up for this franchise. So, however or whatever they're planning on doing with it, hey, time will tell, but it's always something up their little sleeves. But we'll see. Another piece of news was that it is a full game on the cartridge, not game key card. But that's not surprising. Nintendo has already come out and said all their first party games will not be game key card. It will be all on the card. But we're not gonna praise them for shit they should do.
Mhm.
But coming up next is a new leak continues to come out confirming the PlayStation 6 handheld is not only just real, but it will be true backwards compatibility. It will play through PlayStation 4, 5, and 6 games natively on it. I mean, that's what they should be doing. But I would assume so with the news going around how PlayStation was shopping around what to do with their next console, and they said they came out with continuing to stay with AMD. They would need to do that if they want backwards compatibility. But the talk of the town, what caught my attention was that with recent news of the power save mode feature that first party studios will be doing with their games and possibly mandating to others, and the networking that they're doing with smart delivery now for PlayStation games, for this handheld to play these games from three different generations in a saving consumption mode to save more in battery. It really seems like the wish that people wanted for all these years for Sony to come back to the handheld market is coming to fruition. If all this is fully true, but we've reported on this news numerous of times, I'm pretty sure it is. Treese, what do you or can you look forward to from a PlayStation handheld?
I mean, kinda like I guess I wanna ask you this, do you think it's a Sony handheld will have Steam OS on it?
No.
Nah. Yeah, yeah, nah. I mean, just I would want it to do have stable performance, that's number 1, and 2, uh, like, if I'm playing on my console, can I then go to my handheld and pick it up right from where I left off my console without having to reload, reboot, stuff like a seamless transition. Cause I don't think this handheld is gonna be cheap, honestly. Cause
So
it's gonna
what you're talking about is kind of cross play functionality.
but yeah,
I can
I want all that, but I still even if I didn't have my console, this then has to be able to play my PlayStation 6 games at the same
mhm.
type of expectation I would have on a full console. And I think that's a very damning thing to ask because if you bring out
There will be sacrifices. There will be
yeah,
caveats.
yeah, because the handheld at the end of the day is not gonna have all the power and all that. So
No, no.
I'm really looking at I think what Sony is positioning themselves in and why they putting so much money behind software right now is to prepare for this handheld. I think that's where all this is leading to is to prepare for the handheld because honestly, I could see people saying, "Hey, I'm not buying the PS6, but I'll buy this handheld to play
Absolutely.
PS6 games." Yeah, mhm, I can see it.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. And it's enticing because with such popularity of Steam Deck and Switch 2, if they can hit the pricing right and say, "Hey,
Yeah.
you can," and with them pushing digital so hard, your library is at your fingertips. You just need to download it and play it. And they can get the power save mode working correctly. Hey, well, you don't have to worry about these triple A high quality big budget games draining the battery of it, then yeah, this could be a huge big old win for them. Absolutely.
What
With all the
price?
workings going on in the background. I'm sorry.
No, how much you think this PlayStation handheld gonna be priced at?
Ooh, I'm thinking 5 to 6. The reports I read and news I watched said that the chipset in the handheld and the PlayStation 6S were the same. It's only the true PlayStation 6 console itself that uses a different archetype and chipset than the other two. So
Mm.
if the smaller, weaker one and the handheld have the same thing, then yeah. But I say maybe 5 to 6. And for anybody that think that's a little absurd, might I add you that the Steam Deck OLED before it was sold out was 650 for the OLED 1 terabyte model. So they could get it at 5 or 600. People will buy it. it'll fly off store shelves. And there is an
Yeah.
appetite and an audience for this because one of the things that pushed Sony back into this was the success of the PlayStation Portal. PlayStation Portal launch is sold out instantly everywhere. I think for a good chunk of the first year, it was hard to get a hold of it. And Sony was like, yo, people really want this. Hell, people were even hacking it to play whatever the hell they were doing on it. And even though they patched that out, but Sony's like, we did not know people are interested in it. And it's like, well, you know, you choose not to listen. You made a fumble with the Vita, but no one told you to leave. You ceded that ground to Nintendo and they ran with it unopposed. And now you're coming back thinking like, hey, you know, we can still do this. But you know, we will see. It is an interesting aspect because even though they say, and this came from Sony themselves, that from PS3 to PS4, when people were complaining about backwards compatibility, Sony came out and showed the data that as much as people gripe and complain about backwards compatibility, I think it was like 27% of people actually use it. So the numbers don't match the outcry versus the usage. But to keep people appeased and one less thing to complain about, I'm like, all right, cool, yeah, we'll give it to you. Hence, that's why they stay with AMD for the architecture of the system. But we'll see how this goes, how this play out. The closer we get towards the end of the year, more of these quote unquote leaks will still keep coming out, and we'll learn more. We'll go from there. Xbox just can't seem to get it together. Reports are saying Xbox is firing 15% of its workforce. Apparently, the AAA game sector of the Microsoft Corporation is still underperforming, even after years of buying up all those devs, studios, publishers, a war chest of IPs and everything else under the sun they can get their grubby little hands on. They still aren't making the money that they want to see out of their subsidiary little son. Treese, when will the firing, I'm sorry, laying off stop? They've been laying people off for years now. What are we
Ye
doing?
Yeah, these microeconomic hardships is it just I see no light at the end of the tunnel, baby. Like god dang. So multiple layoffs and I just yeah, I don't know when they'll stop. I kind of feel like these layoffs are like very much similar to the increase in PlayStation prices. Like they just continue to go up. They're not stopping. So I mean it's very unfortunate for anybody that lost their job. Hopefully, they got let go with severance packages to tie them over, and they can find something quick, fast, and a hurry. Because baby, being without a job in 2026, it's kind of like your life is in danger because things are just so expensive. But it's really interesting that I didn't even realize that Xbox was doing layoffs because everybody's talking about how they reduced the Game Pass price and giving them all the praise and all this stuff. Meanwhile, in behind the scenes, they up here laying people off quietly. Like what the hell is going on around here? So that's very interesting. Like they lower the price, probably lower the money making amount that they can make off per person, and then they turn around and then do a layoff. It's like what's going on behind like on the business side. Unfortunate though.
It is interesting to see that they continuously just, you know, keep going ahead and laying the workforce off. But of course, correction is indeed needed. We here don't want to have anyone lose their job, but hey, you know, got to get it together. The needle must go up. But I do find it very alarming that the amount of money at their possession and gobbling up so much intellectual properties that it's just not doing it from however angle you want to look at it. But the whole sector is laying off in droves from
Oh,
Epic Games to Xbox. Hell, I think the only place you don't see anyone getting laid off is Nintendo.
but you know what I just thought about as you was talking? Because I was thinking about all the Xbox's posts. They have stated we are heavily invested in AI. And maybe the layoffs are kind of AI adjacent. Like, hey, we're starting to ramp up the AI. I don't think it's where it's going to be, but in the next probably 2 or 3 years, AI is probably going to take on a lot of more responsibility in day to day in and outs of the company, and so they're already like, well, let's cut this dead weight because is it I fire you now Or I'm just gonna fire you in a year or two when we go full live on this AI stuff for day-to-day utilities or, decision makings and stuff like that for the company.
Oh, yeah, that is true. The first round of layoffs was to reduce costs for the $82 billion foot bill that they're going to
God
use for
damn.
AI. But hey, that's how it goes. But that was all the news going on this week that I wanted to share and talk about with you all. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Weekend News Dump. And remember, game on. Like, comment, share, and subscribe.
Peace.